Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to Brown Bag Bets, powered by BetSports. We are your daily dose of quick hit handicapping and sports betting picks. I'm Alex Christensen, and joining me, as always, Mr. Andy Mahler. And since it's Friday and we need to get as much as we can in before the weekend, we weave in a third man, Mr. Matthew Rooney. How's everybody doing? Matt, sorry, I couldn't get the first basket score right. I got the Pistons.
That's okay.
Right.
That's okay. That's all right. We didn't hit that one, but I did hit a nice little pre-built same game parlay and that one on DraftKings. So I'll be fine. I'll live. I got a winner.
Zach LaVine should have shot the ball anyway. How are you, Andy?
Yeah, I'm all right. It's Friday. Got a big snowstorm that came through. I got most of it cleaned up yesterday, which is annoying. I'm out on winter. I'm done with it now. I've had enough.
Well, you really only got like a month and a half of this left.
We'll see, man. We have snowstorms up until May sometimes.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, I'm out on winter and on spring. So yeah, it's
you live in the right place to be out on winter.
Yeah, I'm switching. Oh my God, my wife is just like, do you want to just go to Mexico for a weekend or Florida or something? She's starting to get at her wits end with this sort of stuff too. But God damn it, the fresh snow and the puppy. The puppy is a snow dog. Like, he loves the snow. Like, sometimes we'll just catch him laying in the snow, I think he fell asleep in the snow. So it's a mountain dog, and fuck, he's so cute. Pouncing, there's a lot of bounding going on. Like, God damn it. Well, I guess we're fine with it a little bit, but it could still be spring. That'd be great. And with spring comes March Madness. I'm kind of pumped about that. So I love a little basketball. What order do we want to do things in today? I always get confused without the.
You said college basketball. Let's go with college basketball.
Thing on the side. This was an interesting one too because, and we're gonna start with college basketball, I guess. But I went to bet this. I bet it at a book that takes pretty fair limits on this sort of thing, and I bet the Richmond it was a 1 point underdog. And granted, crossing the zero, never do it with teasers, but it is something that happens when lines move. And I ended up betting this, and 15 seconds later, Richmond was a favorite. And again, I'm not saying Andy bet $5,000 on the Spiders. No, my bets aren't that big for this sort of stuff. But it was just funny, the timing. Somebody else at the exact same time had taken some swings on Richmond, I think, because that line popped, and I don't think it's honestly moved since then. So I got the money line at a dog price, and by dog price, they're still charging you 15 cents. So I paid minus 103, but I'm still fine playing Richmond at this the slightest of favorites, taking on the Virginia Commonwealth University Rams. My Chris Mooney-led Richmond Spiders are, honestly, I think they should have been the favorite here, though. The tempo's a little weird. Slow possession length, but this is a team, and again, the same stuff I talk about over and over again. Like, hey, hit your free throws, good. Hey, force a lot of turnovers, get a lot of extra possessions. Don't turn the ball over hardly at all. They kind of meet all those things for me, and at the same time, VCU, who is ranked a little higher and has a pretty balanced team, good offense, good defense. At the same time, they turn the ball over a lot. When you get a team that forces that many turnovers against a team that can't hold on to it, and then you get a team like VCU who relies on, the three-pointer a little more, I love them as a dog. Not that I'm getting them as a dog anymore. Dan gave me a hard time about this. So Andy's betting a favorite. They were a dog when I clicked it. So I guess
I'll allow it.
This is what I need to turn it around.
Occasional short favorite.
I think yesterday's 6-point favorite lost by 8 after just being in the game the whole time. Run into a bit of a. That's the hardest part. It's like when you're losing, you don't even want to get up and look at numbers in the morning. I hate it so much. So, but head up, eyes down, grab the plow, go through the road, bet your bets, get on with life. All right, who wants to do it next?
More basketball, or should we talk football?
We'll do NBA. NBA's been kind of fun.
It was fun last night that we needed overtime to get there. We just barely got there. Kudos to anybody that got 238.5 or 239. CLV mattered, which is always kind of fun. It's a bit of a double-edged sword. Apologies for anybody that had the 240, but got there. 9 games tonight, a lot going on. I almost bet against the Hawks again, but I'm just not in the mood to do that. It's just been really awful trying to bet against the Hawks. So maybe Knicks +3 will be something I add later. But 2 bets I did actually make. We're going to take the Spurs again as underdogs. Not only covered for us, but beat the Brooklyn Nets outright, +5.5 earlier in the week. And tonight host another mercurial team, if you will, the Los Angeles Clippers. Again, hard to tell who's going to be playing for the Clippers tonight. May possibly be a spot where they rest some players. The Spurs at home have been much better. Again, this is a team that's tanking. They are one of only 2 teams in the NBA that have a net rating in the fourth quarter of -14 or worse. Them and the Houston Rockets, which is pretty unbelievable. The third worst team has a net rating of only -5 in the fourth quarter. So you can clearly see the way the end of those games have gone. But filter that on home, especially situations in competitive games, they're much better. Really like this spot here for the Spurs. Had this closer to 4, honestly. So 6.5, 7s, they're all out there. Go ahead and scoop up Spurs plus the points. And then we're going to go under a big number tonight, the Pacers and the Nuggets. Again, the Nuggets at home have been much better defensively. The Pacers continue to be without Tyrese Halliburton, which again is really the straw that stirs the drink for them offensively. The Pacers really slow down the pace, if you will. Without Halliburton, these games have been slow. They've been ugly. And the Nuggets are happy to do that. Again, at home, they have an opportunity to maybe even rest a couple guys tonight. Curious to see what Jamal Murray ends up doing and if he's going to play tonight. If he's in, I have this at 236, 235.5. If he is out, I have it closer to 233, honestly. So a pretty big edge here on this under. And what, again, I expect to be a clunky game. I think the market's still pretty slow here to adjust for the Pacers without Halliburton. So under 240 there. Spurs +7. Holt asked about the 6 man of the year market, which is fairly interesting. If you guys didn't hear,
it came down last night. Like books just took it off the market with the Poole news, I think.
And so it looks like Jordan Poole is going to be a starter for the time being. Now, that probably puts him in a position again where he'll play too many games to win the 6 man of the year. And this is something where the voters are really good about that. I think the last time a 6 man of the year won, starting even a handful of games, was a while ago, let alone the majority of them. So you look at it right now, Russell Westbrook laughably is -250. Maybe look at taking a little Malcolm Brogdon there, +275. Norman Powell hasn't been very good. And as you start to go further down the list, there's not really a big number that sticks out to me. As I'm looking at it right now, I mean, Mathurin 28-1 is kind of interesting, but the Pacers really won't be good enough. This is an award that generally goes to teams that are very good. I think the average winning percentage for 6 men is like 60% plus. So you're talking about, one of the top 3-4 seeds in their conference. So as you start to whittle things down a little bit, maybe Bogdanovich comes on hot here as the Hawks are finally healthy and maybe get a little bit better, but scoop up a little Malcolm Brogdon if you don't have any of that. Otherwise, it's hard to tell with a market that's been wide open. As bad as Westbrook -250 is, it's hard to see where the value is elsewhere.
Yeah. I don't want to bet on Westbrook. Nobody wants that in their life.
No. It's never worth it.
I guess it's the market just saying if none of the really good teams are going to have your classic 6 man and the Lakers somehow make the playoffs, maybe they'll vote for him, but it's just like, I'm not there. You're parlaying a lot of stuff together for that to happen, and I don't know how you get to -250. I mean, I could see him being like single digits, like +200, not -250.
Yeah.
I mean, are they just maybe taking a lot of bets on him because he's a Laker, similar to why, when Lakers odds after they won the title were so short, even though everybody knew they weren't going to go, like the market, people were just betting the Lakers because they're the Lakers, similar to, the Dodgers and stuff like that. Yankees.
It certainly could be it. It'd be a great question to ask a bookmaker. Maybe we'll reach out to a couple people and see if they can explain what the volume looks like on that, because it's really tough. And I wonder if at this point books are just happy they've got a bunch of Jordan Poole money. He's probably not going to win, so they're happy to just sit back and let everybody kind of stay where they are. Because again, I didn't see any of these bigger numbers get so much bigger. Like Malik Monk was still 25-1. He's right around there. So it looks like they just took all the Poole equity and dumped it right into Westbrook.
I'll bet some Brogdon. Fuck it. I'm all about
Scoop
it.
up a little Brogdon wherever you have it. That's not a bad bet. And yeah, Lakers +200 make the playoffs. It's hard for me to see Westbrook winning, but I also hate all the rest of the names on this list.
Yeah, sometimes there's a market like this. Like, honestly, offensive rookie of the year this year in the NFL was like this to me, and I ended up making way too many bets. But at the same time, it's like I have no idea what's going. I think there's going to be some interesting lessons learned from this year, as far as you might not even have to be on a good team, guys. You just have to get you just have to get the volume.
There are outliers.
Sometimes things get weird. Speaking of getting weird, Matt shaved his beard. I know that's been mentioned. It still bothers me.
I know.
That's not how you
saw
win
that
the playoffs.
face. So much.
You got to keep the beard. You got to get the beard. Keep the beard.
It looks more clean shaven on camera. Like in person, it's like you could definitely see some more to it. But yeah, I shaved it earlier this week.
It's hard to be bearded Bettsburg's Brown Bag Bros.
I guess the Blackhawks aren't going to the playoffs. You don't need a playoff beard.
No, we're tanking hard for Bedard. The tank's actually not going as well because they've like won 4 out of 6 or something like that. Like we
beat
got
the Flyers, you idiots.
Yeah, like easily. I didn't watch much of the game last night, but a lot of the tweets I was seeing was basically like this is 2 teams clearly playing in a tank off, and the Flyers were able to out tank the Blackhawks last night. So Noops, I tip my cap to you on that one. I do have a couple of bets. There's only 2 games for whatever reason on this Friday night, which just makes no sense to me. I'm not really sure why the NHL would only have 2 games on a Friday night, but I'm going to support Andy's Bruce Boudreau fade. We're going to keep fading Bruce in hopes that he's the first head coach fired. The Canucks have been a little bit of the record's not awful, but given what the expectations were this year, have been a little bit of a dumpster fire. And the Avalanche, after a slow start, might be starting to heat up a little bit again. They're starting to get a little bit healthier. They've won 3 in a row. They've outscored their opponents 17-4 in that run. And as we saw in the playoffs last year, when this team gets cooking offensively, like they're really, really, really hard to stop, even if they are a little bit banged up, which they still are, but they're a little bit healthier than they were a couple of weeks ago. These 2 teams did play like about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. The Canucks won that game 4-2, but the Avalanche are playing much better hockey than they were at that point. Vancouver's lost 4 of their last 5. Let's take the Avalanche here.
And was a garbage shootout win.
Yeah, it was a shootout against a good team in Carolina, but it was a shootout win. So we're going to take the Avalanche, lay the 1.5 with them at +140. We're going to take the good team playing pretty well against the bad team, and then Alex DeBrincat. Andy, who does Alex DeBrincat play for?
Alex DeBrincat plays for the Carolina Panthers. That's not the
That's an NFL team.
The Carolina Hurricanes.
Guess. No, he's an Ottawa Senator. The Blackhawks traded him to the Ottawa Senators at the draft last year. I found out also this morning. Dan didn't know that.
I knew he got moved. I couldn't remember. But I did. I had a bet on him to win like the Rocket to the Moon award.
Rocket Richard. Yeah, don't worry about that. That's a sunk cost.
No, last year.
Okay. Yeah, this year it's definitely not going to happen. He was a Blackhawk. He is not anymore. He's an Ottawa Senator now. Dan didn't know that either. I threw this bet, and he's like, Dan messaged me like, yeah, today I found out that Alex DeBrincat plays for the Ottawa Senators. He hasn't been very good. He hasn't been bad this year, but his numbers, his goal scoring numbers have taken a hit since he's not playing with Patrick Kane every night anymore. That said, he's still on pace for about 25-30 goals this year. I'm taking his over 3.5 shots on goal against Pittsburgh. He's one of these, I think, remember last week I did a prize picks with some over shots on goal. I talked about wanting to get some high volume shooters, the guys that can have the potential to go for, 7, 8, 9 shots in a game. And Alex DeBrincat is one of those guys. He's gone over this total 4 of the last 5. I'm not sure if I said that or not, but it was worth repeating. And +110, I feel comfortable rolling the dice with that. I mean, he's a guy who can easily put up 2 shots on a power play. He's the main shooter on a power play. I really like his over, and we're going to roll the dice with that against Pittsburgh tonight. So high volume shooter, and let's fade Bruce Boudreau. But plus money, I'm a sucker for plus money. You know that.
Poor Bruce. I just want him to move on with his life at this point. They're like, oh man. I mean,
we're not even at like the 1-year anniversary of him being hired.
This is gonna be a messy analogy. You remember William H. Macy's Little Bill? Little Bill was a Cosby cartoon. Yeah. It was Bill in Boogie Nights. You remember him? And his wife was constantly, stepping out on him. Let's keep it kind of PG, even though there were some graphic scenes. I feel like that's Bruce Boudreau right now. Is with this kid, like the team in the media is like, yeah, we're interviewing other coaches. It was Little Bill in Boogie Nights. Thank you, Dan. He's like, we've interviewed this guy. We've talked to this guy. It's like, hey, I can hear you. I'm right here. Like I feel horrible for him at this point. They need to just end this. It sounds like management up there is a real shit show. So, yes, if we could just get a 17-0 Avalanche win tonight, and they'd be like,
Yeah.
all right, we kind of have to fire somebody.
Their new team president, Jim Rutherford, I think
Yeah,
took
he
over
seems
last
like an
year at some
absolute
point.
fucking knob dick.
So he's been he's been successful wherever he's been. He won in Carolina. He won cups with Pittsburgh. He had a press conference, I think it was earlier this week or maybe late last week, where he was basically like, yeah, so he didn't say it was a dumpster fire. He's like, yeah, I kind of thought this was just going to be like a minor lift of a project. Turns out there's a lot of work to do.
Oh, he said surgery.
Okay.
He called it a minor surgery. He said,
That's it.
I thought it was going to be a minor surgery. This is a major surgery. Like basically saying, I'm in over my head. This sucks. So speaking being in over your head, that's been my tennis betting when I've gone out on my own. My goodness, I've struggled. I've been pretty small, but it's mostly been live betting for me. So I've just given up on the Aussie. So I'm taking it easy. Although some of the futures I placed, again, at the behest of Noops, are kind of flying along as things are opening up for both draws, men's and women's. And I mean, we still got a whole lot of churrai in to get up that hill, but Linda Fruvatova, I'm kind of digging where she's at right now. I'm kind of digging where her headspace is at. She doesn't seem to, I don't know, the moment's definitely not too big for her at this point, and she's still like, what, 18?
Yeah, it's nuts to watch some of these teenagers again. You look on the women's side, we've got a handful of quarter bets that are still alive, which is nice. Like you said, Fruvertova down at the bottom, and we're even going to just double down on this, Andy. I love the way she's playing tennis. She's got Vondrasova here, who took advantage of Ons Jabeur, and not that Vondrasova wasn't good, but it was really more of a loss for Jabeur than it was a win for Vondrasova. Again, I think people still overreacting a little bit to a lot of wins against lesser opponents. Now, the fly in the ointment, Vondrasova, a lefty. Fruvertova has only played, I think, 4 or 5 matches against lefties professionally, and it can be tough to figure out those angles, tough to get used to the forehand, backhands lining up as opposed to the other way around. So that's in good shape. And again, if she gets past this match, I mean, could possibly be a favorite in the next match going into that quarterfinal. So a lot of equity for us there, but again, handful of plays. Just about all these start tonight. Just talked about Fruvertova again. Goes up against Vondrasova. I have that match a lot closer to 2-1. Hopefully you scooped that yesterday. That number has dropped down to plus 220.
You're saying just Vondrasova's getting more credit than she should for the win because Jabeur was just that awful.
Yeah, if you go back and look at spots in that match, I mean, Jabeur had chances really to take control of it. Clearly, physically wasn't 100%, and Vondrasova really made a meal of it. So that, and again, just a lot of her wins in general is not playing the highest quality players, and I think Fruvertova can really upset her. So hopefully you grabbed that yesterday. Play that at plus 240 or better. Seeing the number a little bit lower than that. The total here at the top, Arina Sabalenka against Elise Mertens, former doubles partners, really good friends who played a ton of tennis together. And if you look at this matchup over the last 3 or 4 years, they play a couple times a year somehow in these events, and Sabalenka really just puts her away. Going to take under 20 here. There's some cheap 19.5s, expensive 20.5s. Landed on a 20 I was able to find. Just like this better than Sabalenka -5. We get a chance to push this at least if it's 6-4, 6-4, something like that. And Sabalenka can boot a set, but again, it should be pretty comfortable here. Thinking we're going to see like a 6-2, 6-3 kind of thing, a 6-4, 6-3. So happy to take the under 20 there. Talked about Fruvertova, and then Elena Rybakina. I think it's Rybakina. I don't know. I'm still not 100% sure on that. Goes up against Iga Swiatek, and it's tough going against Iga. She's played solid tennis, but Rybakina has been fantastic. These are great conditions for her. She has all the game that you would need, not only to beat Iga Swiatek in a match, but especially in this spot here. Her service, her power there has just been really fantastic. And plus 350, I'm honestly not too close to this number. I had this at plus 250. I had to double check, Andy, because I was looking at this at decimal odds at first, and I wasn't sure I was doing the conversion correctly. But yeah, plus 350 looks really nice to me. Would play this honestly at plus 325, plus 300 or better. Should be a great match. And just playing the money line here. If she does lose, there's a chance, there's kind of a blowout in the second set there. So just the money line, happy to pass on the +4. And then a first set over. Jessie Pegula, Barbara Krejcikova. Krejcikova, I believe we have a quarter price on her or something like that. Either way, should be a really competitive first set here. We'll probably try to stack this up once it opens up at a few other spots. But seeing 9.5 at plus 110 in the first set, very easy. Should be very easy here for a 6-4, possibly even a 7-5. So again, I'll stack this one up to the tiebreaker once it opens up. So an under, a first set over, and a couple big underdogs for us down under.
Down under. And the order of play, I know, is a mess, and it's more of a suggestion than a rule. But we're in a good place right now, right? As far as the heat and the rain and everything, like we're getting matches in at a normal clip.
They're totally caught up, and there's so few matches now, Andy, they can basically play them all inside anyway. So there is 12 women left in the tournament. They'll have 8 matches tonight and just 4 tomorrow. So again, as you start to get further, it's just so much easier to fit everything. We should be just fine.
All right. That's what I thought. And yeah, like you said, further deeper into the tournament, there's just fewer games. Speaking of fewer games, there's only 4 in the NFL, which is we're still
sad
on the Saturday.
This is
Sunday.
like the best weekend of football.
It's a great weekend of football, but it's still sad that it's like, damn.
And no, it's like bittersweet. Because there is only the 4 games, but man, it is the best weekend. Like wild card weekend was always good. Super wild card weekend takes it up a notch. And then
Just has the word super in front of it.
Yeah, and next weekend, obviously there's something about the end of the game celebrations next weekend where it's like, the fuck, you're going to the Super Bowl. Like that hits differently for sure, obviously, but these ones are so good because you've separated some wheat from the chaff. We've gotten rid of the Vikings, the Seahawks. We've gotten rid of the Dolphins. And boy, God, talk about some weird quarterbacks. The 4 that have eliminated, like Kirk Cousins is a trillion times better than the other 3. That's saying something too. The playoffs got goofy this year. Happens every year, but yeah, only 4 games. And if you want our takes on all the NFL, we did a deep dive episode. It wasn't the longest one because there's only 4 games, but I did place bets on all 4 just because I like to have a little bit of action. Like I said, smaller bets. I'm mostly going to invest. I'm going to take how much I bet on those 4 games combined. I'm going to invest at least 5 times that in props. And it will not be my props. It'll be other people smarter than me props. Like I love betting, 15 props across like a Saturday afternoon on these games. And they're not hanging the Brett Maher ones yet, but I'm probably staying away from the kicker ones. Have fun with that. If you think you're just going to fade a guy, they kept him. I kind of went on a diatribe there about that, but think about like the worst game. I don't know. You can't use Embiid, like a middling player. Who's Tyrese Maxey play for now?
The Sixers.
Yeah. Now let's say he missed like 20. Let's say he went out 0 for 12 in the field, 5 fouls, technical. Like you're not just cutting him and like
no.
Yeah, we're having tryouts to fill it. Like I know a kicker is just a kicker, but literally,
they did bring in another kicker for practice.
They brought one in on the practice squad just to be a little safe. But it's crazy how quick we're like, oh, that kicker's gone. Like, yeah, it was a big game. They still won, and he had you don't want that where the next guy is thinking like that's in his head. Well, they'll just bring another guy in to replace me. Like you don't want to go revolving door kickers at all. So
yeah,
kind of goofy
about that.
Kind of goofy how quick we are to be like, get him off the team.
It's weird to put those guys in that spot. Like the kicker who's coming in, does he really think he has a fair shot at it? And it's like, does that help Maher? Is he a competitive guy who's going to come out and kick 1,000 extra points this week because like somebody's there in the building? Or like, does it really mess with his head? It's like, oh man, maybe I stink. Maybe they're not going to play me. And he spends time thinking about that. Like,
I think just the fact that he kept the job is a little vote
just another day in the life.
He should be fine.
I think they said in practice yesterday too. He went like 6 for 6 from extra point kind of range, not exactly extra points, but from kind of that general range.
Yeah, so I think they'll be fine. That's going to be the game I'm most looking forward to. But actually, the game I'll be most happy with, if it turns out my way, will be the Jaguars. And I have Jaguars futures. I'm still sitting on them to win the Super Bowl at like 150-1. And I know they're a big underdog, but I mean, it's like 4-1 at this point. I'm just going to I'm putting a little bit more on Jaguars money line. I think they're going to be in this. between what I've listened to, what I watch, what I've seen, what I feel, and then my God, just watching Ben Solak's video breaking down some of the plays, how Doug Peterson was busting up the Chargers defense in the second half with some really good scheming. I just got even more excited. So more Jags money line plus 400. Like it's too much for a team that, during the second half of the season, they're not on the level of the Bills, Chiefs, and probably even Bengals, but they're closer than we think. And going against the market here, because the market is betting this the other way. Maybe it's finally found a spot where we'll see some buyback. So 4-1 Jaguars. Yeah, and if this hits, then the rest of the weekend's pretty much goddamn gravy, right? It's the first game.
4-1. That's probably worth the little bit of a flyer.
Yeah.
Sprinkle. Yeah, thank you.
A sprinkle.
Yeah, just a little sprinkle.
Definitely a first half
like
money
that
line.
Salt guy.
Salt day.
Jags first half money line. Chiefs full game.
Oh, God, maybe I should have that. Truthfully, though, if
you'd still add it to your card, Andy, you got time.
Well, here's the thing, though. Like, if the Jags are leading at halftime, there's going to be, the whole world's going to be coming back on the second half, and that you're going to pay dearly for that number. So if you want to do it before the game, it's probably going to be better, because let's say the Jags are up by 7 at half or something. My God, I can't imagine the number they're going to hang for a second half. Like, you're going to be betting a second half number that's like an 8.5.
I was saying 9.5.
Yeah, it's going to be expensive. They'll make you pay dearly for it.
Plus 550.
Plus 550. All right, I'll take a look at it.
I think I'm interested in that sprinkle. I think that's more my pace than the Jags full on money line, especially if it's 5.5 to 1 instead of 4 to 1. It's more value for me.
I just think they win, baby. Here's the other question. Allison, last question. Oh, this probably works out really well for Linda.
I thought you froze there for a second right after you said last question. Then I was going to laugh.
So this is going to work out for our run to the finals. Krejcikova, Siniakova probably wiped the floor with them in doubles today.
Oh, yeah. They're like the best doubles team
the doubles run
history of doubles.
Yeah. Because you do see that from time to time. Somebody gets a lot deeper into a tournament than they think they should have. And then they're like, hey, I have to pull out of doubles now. I can't be playing a match every single day at this point. So I think it'll probably work out well. They have to be I haven't looked at prices, but I'm guessing they're a pretty sizable underdog. I have it up right now. Minus 1,800. I was right. So I think
best women's doubles team probably in history.
Yeah, I think the double. Yeah, once I saw who they were playing, I'm like, oh, never mind. So I was going to ask if she'd think about pulling out of doubles, but not.
Won't have to.
Won't have to. The universe is just taking care of it for us.
Take care of that for her.
Oh, for that, it's Friday. I'm going to go figure out what's for lunch. I don't know. I have no idea at this point.
Pizza?
I didn't bet any golf today. Golf yesterday was a disaster.
Oh, no.
I have to. And then just like with the 3 courses and everyone rotating, I'm like, I kept running different scenarios through, and I kept coming up with similar stuff as yesterday. And I didn't want to just run that back and risk more damage. So I took the day off. I'm going to reevaluate after 2 rounds, see where everyone's at for Saturday. Yeah, I'll definitely have some round 3 plays for sure once I get around to that. Maybe I'll even just tweak that stuff. So no golf today for me. Sorry if you waited the whole time for golf, Will. But, we'll get back at it. So hit the weekend running, guys. Hit the thumbs up on the way out. Any NBA props you like for Prize Picks Friday promo? Jason, if you were to leave a comment on this YouTube video, I will send you a link to a Discord that's free. It's the 4for4 Discord, and they have a free Prize Picks channel where people post props all the time. Maybe you're already in it. I don't know. But I know Rick Camp posts some Prize Picks stuff in there for the NBA.
He's
a couple
good.
Other people pick those up. I have obviously put me on the spot to find a Prize Picks square. I'm not going to be able to do it right now. But if you want
Noonan, speaking of the Prize Picks Discord, has Noonan posted his tackle props yet?
No, I think we'll probably have that pretty soon, though.
Okay, because I'm going to have to
hop in on that. There's a lot of NFL stuff in there as well.
I thought it was going to hit last week. The first 3 hit, and then the last 2 ended up not hitting in the Ravens game, but it was close.
Yeah, he's pretty good at that tackle stuff. So, yeah, like I said, if anybody wants a link to that 4for4 Discord, leave a comment on this video. I'll shoot a link over to you. You can join. Like I said, those are free channels. And with that, hit a thumbs up. Thumbs up for good luck this weekend. I thank you, Noops. I thank you, Matt. I thank you, producer Dan, and obviously William H. Macy and the rest of the chat. Special shout out to Will Newman if he made it this long because he's tweeting me right now. So we'll catch you guys on Monday.